2026. I'm Joey Hargis, the Metro Zoning Administrator, and I'll be presenting the cases today for review in the public hearing. The board would ask if you would please just put your phones on silent or vibrate so they don't go off during the meeting, and we would appreciate that. The procedure will be to go through the cases as listed in the agenda, and we'll go through each of the cases that are scheduled for a public hearing today. The process will be first, I'll present a case record on the big screen there in front of you by means of a PowerPoint presentation, and I'll present any photographs and sketches or plans submitted by the applicant. And then once my part is done, the applicant will come first to the table, and there'll be seats right in front of you there. The applicant will present their case, and if there's any parties opposed to the case, they'll come up as the second group to talk. Each of those two groups have 10 minutes to present their case to the board. Now that is 10 minutes in total as a group, not per speaker. So if there are multiple speakers for a case today, be sure to work out your time before coming up to the table of who's going to speak and for how long. All the cases before us are outlined in the board's powers under section 1740-180 of the Metro Code of Law. The board requires that 4 members be present to constitute a quorum. We do have 4 members present today. The rules of the board also require that you have 4 affirmative votes. So for today, you must have all 4 votes in the affirmative to grant your case. If you fail to get 4 votes today, let's say it ends up 3-1 or 2-2, your case will stay on our agenda for the next 30 days. So we'll have a meeting April the 2nd. Your case will then move to the April the 2nd meeting. At that time, the other members who are not present are able to review today's proceedings on the YouTube and become eligible to participate in April 2nd's case. If by some chance there's not some resolution on April the 2nd, your case will stay on one more agenda, and that will be April the 16th, at which time any members who weren't present for the first 2 could participate. And then after April 16th, if your case still does not have 4 affirmative votes, your case is denied by operation of law. Okay. So we got through the preliminary parts. The board, I went through some of the preliminary announcements before we started, but I'll go ahead and hit those just again. Some cases that will not be heard today. And those are cases 2026-1, that will be heard on April 2nd. That is on Bidwell Road. The next case that will be postponed is case 2026-22 on page 2. It's the case at 4510 Elkins Avenue. The next case that is postponed is case 2026-34. Ms. Carol Andrews, 1133 LIPSCOMB Drive. That case will be heard April the 16th. The bottom of page 3, case 2026-36, that case has been withdrawn by the applicant. And those are all of our preliminary announcements. Prior to today's meeting, the chair reviews the cases in the record. Wait, before I do that, the board does allow council members to speak. I do have Councilmember Vo here to my right. Are there any other council members present in the room with us today? I just did not see you. All right. Councilmember Vo, if you want to address the board at this time, you may. You're welcome to at the lectern there or at the table, whatever's most comfortable for you.
Okay. Let's go with this one. All right, good afternoon. Thank you all so much. I'm Councilmember Terry Vo, representing District 17. And I just want to speak really quickly to my 3 cases that we have. I know case 2026-033, I'm in support of that one, and also case 2026-041. I request regarding case 2026-039, this one I've had a lot of my constituents reaching out that they would like more time. They would like to be able to discuss and have more community engagement regarding 106 RAINS Avenue. It is case 2026-039. Yes. And for me, I'm going to discuss kind of some questions that they had, but the applicant is asking multiple variances, including reduction to the street, rear setbacks, and special exception to the height. And so under the BZA guidelines, to, it should not be granted simply just to accommodate preferred design or increase project intensity. It should demonstrate a hardship tied to the land itself. And so whenever I was reviewing it, listening to feedback from my constituents, we're trying to better understand if there's enough sufficient evidence for that hardship. And with the property being zoned CS, it already allows for mixed use multifamily. So trying to understand the reasonably develop within the existing code and the need for the relief. Is it being driven by design choices? Is it by that, or is it really limitations of the land? And, also regarding the height control plane, the standards exist to protect adjacent properties and ensure appropriate transitions. And this street is interesting. So granting an exception here could be risking, creating development that's out of context with its surroundings and potentially harm neighboring residents, which constituents have reached out about. And the neighborhood has expressed that they would like to have further engagement on this proposal and to have more discussion regarding, the impacts of this request. And I think it's really important that when a project seeks, a certain level of intensity beyond current zoning, what is allowed, that, is what is the best appropriate path? Is it rezoning and not just relief through the BZA? So I just want to make sure that my constituents feel that they're being heard. And, for this one, it might just need a little bit more time, engagement, so they can understand. Many people work right now at 1 o'clock. My constituents wanted to come, but I let them know that I would speak on their behalf. And my request is that we take just more time in consideration, or, defer this at least one meeting so that we can get that scheduled with the neighborhood. So that is my request, and I appreciate you all so much. Thank you.
Councilperson, are you, I had that on, that's a special exception, not a variance, as I understand it.
It's both. It's both.
Okay. I thought all of it was, what part of that, Mr. Hargis, is not, I thought it was all special exceptions under the adoptive residential standard.
They are all special exceptions. That section of the code allows for street setbacks and rear setbacks to be handled by special exception.
Okay. I had put that on the consent agenda. Is there anybody, or are you in opposition to it?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll take that off consent. Okay, all right, I just wanted to clear that up. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. I just make the comment because also it says that, and whenever my constituents were reading it, that's why. So I think that we need to make sure that clarifying and even writing on the case, it says requesting a variance. So, I mean, I think that that's important. If it is, then we need to change and make sure that that if it's all special exception, that people are aware of that, because reading it, I would say my constituents did not read it that way. And I think that's very important when we are presenting. So, thank you.
Was there a community, I don't know if you know if there was a community meeting. I know you're not the applicant, but.
Yes, I believe that the applicant, Duane, did host a meeting. I think that when I was hearing from my constituents, they were saying that they were unable to attend. It wasn't like in partnership. I think they scheduled the meeting. And so I think that's something too, that it just wasn't matching up with the neighborhood. And I think that's really important too. If we're gonna have a meeting, it should make sure that community members who wanna be there are able to attend.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, with that, as the board just discussed, and talking about, the board does have a consent agenda, and what a consent agenda is are cases that the chair reviews prior to today's meeting, and if, in the chair's opinion, the case meets the criteria for the variance or meets the conditions for a special exception, and he feels that testimony would not alter the material facts, he'll recommend that case for approval. On these next cases that I call, if you are here in opposition and only opposition to any of these numbers that I'm going to call next, raise your hand, please. And we'll pull the case from consent and we'll hear it in the order listed on the agenda. So the first case recommended for the consent agenda is case on page 2, bottom, case 2026-33. John Roots, the appellant, 1124 3rd Avenue South, LLC, the owners of the property at 1122 3rd Avenue South, requesting special exception to reduce the step back requirements in MULA. Are there any parties here in opposition to case 33 on 1122 3rd Avenue South? Okay, Mr. Chairman, seeing none. The next case recommended for the consent is on page 4. This will be the top of page 4. Patricia Asberry, the appellant, the Fellowship of Free Will Baptist Church Incorporated, the owner of the property at 2518 Unit Antioch Pike, requesting a special exception to allow for daycare in the AR2A zone district. Are there any parties present in opposition to case 37? Are you scratching your head, sir, or was that a? Oh, okay, all right. I just saw a hand from the top there, so, okay. No parties present in opposition, case 37. The next case recommended for the consent agenda is on the page 5, and that is case 2026-040, Eli and Josh Bates and Jacob and McAuliffe, the owner of the property at 221 51st Avenue North. It's also listed in the 911 as 5100 Dakota Avenue, requesting a variance from the height requirements in R75 for DADU. Are there any parties present in opposition to case 40 at 51st and Dakota? Seeing none. The next case recommended for the consent agenda is case 2026-41, Mr. Pete Jones and Domus Development Group, LLC, regarding the property at 825 Gale Lane, requesting a variance in the landscape buffer requirements in CS. Are there any parties present in opposition to case 41 on Gale Lane? All right. Seeing none. Next case recommended for consent is case 2026-42. The Metropolitan Government is the appellant and owner of the property at 1900 Baptist World Center Drive, requesting a special exception from street setbacks and buffer requirements to construct a new fire station on Baptist World Center Drive. Are there any parties present in opposition to case 42? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Chairman. And then finally, case 2026-43, Vision Nashville West End, LLC, appellant owner of the property at 110 20th Avenue, requesting a variance from the allotments for additional sign requirements in MUI. Are there any parties present opposed to case 43 at 110 20th Avenue North? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Chairman, before you take a vote on consent, I just noticed another council member present. I apologize for missing you the first time around. Council. Oh, that's all right. Would you like to address the board on any cases before they vote? $38. Okay. All right. Thank you, Councilmember. Okay. Mr. Chairman, just want to make sure I address all the council folk while they're here. With that, I'll turn it over to you for a motion and a vote on the consent agenda. Yes, sir.
I move to approve all consent agenda with associated conditions.
A second.
Okay, there's a motion.
Okay, so what just happened? If you were here for cases 33, 37, 40, 41, 42, and 43, your cases have been approved. Please follow up with the Codes Department beginning on Monday for any permit-related items that you still need to get approvals from. But with that, you are free to go. Again, your cases have been approved. And I also extend the invitation, as always, to stay with the rest of us for the rest of the afternoon. And check, no, okay. One of these days, somebody will take me up on that offer. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the first case that will be heard by this board today will be a deferred case item from the February the 19th meeting. It is case 2026-19. Concrete Investment, the appellant and owner of the property at 1711 A and B River Drive, requesting a variance from the street's contextual setbacks in the R10 district. Is the applicant present for this case? Come on forward, sir. Board, I'm going to recap. We did have a hearing on this case. Let me just go through the photographs to remind you of the case. This was the original site plan as submitted by the applicant. He was requesting a 20-foot street setback from the setback based upon the contextual average of the homes, being back at 48.9 feet, it looks like. So the contextual setback cuts through the homes. He was proposing here. You all asked the applicant to go back and sort of rework his plans and see, you know, how much of this home could we shorten up. And he was able to achieve in his plans a 4-foot reduction in the setback request from 20 up down to 24, with insetting some of the floor plans here. And that is the case. And just to remind you, this case is on River Drive. I keep wanting to say River Road. This is the current subject property, and this parcel sits at the curvature of River Drive. This in the upper left-hand corner is looking to the right, if I'm standing looking at the subject property, and then the bottom right-hand corner is from the left. And then to give you some perspective on the site. I apologize for not having this up sooner.
Was a new site plan submitted for the 4-foot reduction?
Yes, sir. It was in the, it came in and I'll pull that up here. And it was this image that's on the screen currently.
This is, okay, yeah.
This was the revision with the.
Gotcha, thank you.
And let me just 1 second. I'll get the. Ooh, I'm gonna need some help from y'all because I cannot see that from here. Right here? Right there. Thank you, I appreciate it, yeah.
That's it.
I don't have split screens over here, for some reason. That giant wall is my second screen, so it's a little tough to see from here sometimes. But this is the subject property of this pie-shaped lot located here. River Drive comes to the southwest, curves around this subject lot, and then heads back to the west there. Okay, I think that's a good recap of our request. Are there any parties present in opposition to this case? Okay, seeing none. Sir, you'll have 5 minutes to address. If you could, please just cover the changes that you're proposing between last time and the current time.
Hello. My name is Mina, and today I'm proposing. Last time when I came, I was asked to.
Is your microphone on?
It is on.
Is it? Okay, all right. Can you get,
last time when I came, I was asked. I proposed the code's front setbacks, which are 20, versus the contextual, and I was asked to reduce the depth of the house a little. So I was able to reduce 3 feet from the garage and a feet from the living room. So I made it 4 feet less, which will set the contextual on 24 instead of 20.
So I know last time there were some members that were thought maybe the setback could be reduced. I mean, I thought there was a hardship, and I was generally okay given the pie-shaped lot, but I think, so I'm fine with we're getting 4 more feet, but I know there were other people that thought that, other members that thought it could be reduced. I don't know whether 4 is enough for y'all or not.
I rewatched our deliberation about this case. I think Member Ransom is not here today, but his comment was originally the house was sitting in a 2 combined lot, and it was split in 2 lots. And then 1 lot does not have any issue with the setback. But this newly created lot is issue with the contextual setback. So, thinking of his comment, so this, of course, a property owner has a right to divide the lot, which is their property rights. But by doing so, inevitably created the contextual setback a challenge. And so I am still contemplating, of course, it is a R zone. And so they do have right to build duplex. But does it have to be detached as presented? They can do attached duplex and then meet the setback. It's possible. So I am still contemplating, is this the right? Yes, I do appreciate the effort to reduce the 4 feet, but I'm not still 100% being able to support with this particular application, but I'm listening.
I don't have anything different than what my colleague just said.
And I didn't either. I was waiting to see if you guys had anything different. I agree with I agree with that.
So y'all want to see more of a setback than the 4 feet? Is that where we are?
Or just make it you can still do a duplex, just have a shared wall duplex, and then you wouldn't even need all of this. Some of this is I know it's a pie-shaped lot, but I've been consistent, that doesn't mean that we get to we have to be careful when you have a potential overlay, and so just because you're entitled to a variance doesn't mean that I also don't want to be careful in how I give that variance, and I do appreciate the applicant. But I just think some of this is a design choice, and maybe a different design choice, we wouldn't even necessarily have to hear it.
I understand. I guess what I'm struggling with, if I look at where the contextual setback is, I mean, you reduce the size of the buildable size of that lot so dramatically that, I mean, I think this lot kind of starts off in a bad position with where that contextual setback line is. I guess you could get a house on there, but you'd be leaving a lot of undeveloped lot. But So do y'all want to, I guess we could, you can make a decision about how much of a setback you want to allow, or I suppose you could defer it again and ask the applicant to come back with another plan. I mean, this new plan is really, it's the same plan with just the green line drawn where so, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I wasn't sure, did we close the public hearing? It seemed like the applicant wanted to say something.
Oh, I probably forgot to close it. I'm sorry, I thought you were through and I forgot to close the public hearing. Did you have more to say?
Can I propose
Sure,
something?
yeah, you've got time.
Can you tell me if you would like to see, if you want me to stay? So first time I proposed 20, now it's 24. Would you like to see a certain number? If maybe, would you like to see like another 4 feet cut to make it 28, or maybe like 30? Is there a certain number that you would like me to stay at?
My position is I do not design from here because it's not our duty. However, we would like to ask applicant to be listening to us and then propose site-specific. Does it have to be that orientation? Is there more room? Would that be different design? I think it's on you to kind of come up with a plan, then try to meet. If you did best you can and then still cannot meet the contextual overlay, but not close to 20 feet, but well, I tried, but I still need to variance for 10 foot or 5 foot. And then at that time, we may be more open to hearing new case. But not really trying, because what we are looking for is site-specific, and try to meet the essence of the contextual overlay. So that's what I expect the applicant to do.
And without trying to give any hard time, I'm worried that I go back to architect, then I go back to the surveyor, and maybe they come back at 28 feet, then I come and it's still not fine. That's why I'm trying to see if you can give me a line to go with, and I will try to work with what you guys give me.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, in my mind, something can be built within the contextual setback, and I think if he's going to go back for a design, he's just trying to figure out, is the board hard and fast on meeting the contextual overlay, or what is 10 feet enough, or 15 or some? And I understand you want to see a site plan, and I get that, of some type. So that's what I understand he's trying to kind of figure out.
How to phrase it, but I guess it's such a large departure from a 48-foot setback that's required to a 20 or even a 28-foot setback. It's just such a large departure. And it's a conceptual street setback for a reason, and I do understand there's a pie-shaped lot, but that was a lot that was made, as we can see from the material. The existing home was over that lot line. So these two lots made one lot, and that home fit contextually. Now you're proposing to put two homes on this small pie-shaped piece of land that wasn't like that originally. So I'll have to say, truthfully, it is zoned R10, but that doesn't mean you have to put two homes on one lot. I would be more comfortable with one home on that pie-shaped lot, then I don't know what's going to happen with that other lot that's next door that was a part of the original two lots. But it just seems like there's a lot that's being put in this pie-shaped lot, and it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to, you don't have to infringe on the other neighbors' properties by bringing these two homes so close to the road. So I don't know that I would ever vote for anything that's not pretty close to the 48 feet that's required. That's just, that's how I see it. You're asking for our opinion, and I thought I'd just be honest.
40 feet. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll just have, I mean, maybe 40 feet, maybe.
No, the contextual is 40 feet.
We had in our
48.9 is what we have.
48.9 is what was mentioned in the packet.
Oh, 48. Okay, my apology.
Yeah.
Can I get a number? Can I get a maybe like a 30 foot, and I will stick with it? Is there a number that you can give me?
It would be so hard for me personally to give you just a number, because it literally the size of the house and placement of the house. And so if you put this, you can squeeze two. That's not where I'm coming from. Does it meet the contextual of the, not only the setback, but as a neighborhood as a whole? So by giving you number, and then house become like really totally different from that established neighborhood, we may have a hard time approving it. And so I understand you want it just how many feet, but I'm sorry, cannot give you. All I'm asking is, currently, before this setting, there was one house sitting in the pie-shaped lot. But new proposal, it will be 3 homes at least, if it's not 4. So because we don't know what's coming to the divided lot. It can be 2 homes, or it can be 1 home, which we don't know. All we know is you are asking a setback reduction from 48.9 to 20. Now 24. So still has lots of departure from original making. So that's why we are having hard time try to accommodate your application.
You propose that I go back and adjust the site plan with a different house design and bring it back?
I think what I've heard is that what the only thing that's for certain that would be approved is something that is within the contextual setback.
Okay.
So, I mean, we could, you're not going to have the votes today for this, I can tell you. So if it doesn't get approved, then I think you have to defer it for how many meetings? You can't reapply for
6 months, sir.
6 months. So I guess the question is, would you prefer a deferral so you can come back with something that you can make a shot at?
Yes.
You probably won't be in a worse position, because if it gets turned down today, you can't come back for 6 months and ask for even 2 more feet. Okay. So you might be better off taking a deferral and seeing what you can do. And
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, so I'll would a 2-week deferral be enough
Yes.
to get a new plan and all from a architect, or
Maybe the following one.
how about a 4-week?
4-week course.
Okay, so that would be April 16th.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll move we defer it until April 16th.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion, a second, all in favor? Okay, so you're deferred till April 16th.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, that case is deferred until the April the 16th meeting. Our next case will be case 2026-35, 2416, 24th Avenue North. Mr. Mubarak Muhammed, the appellant, Marla Pillow, owner of the property, 2416 24th Avenue North, requesting a variance in the rear setback requirements in R6 to construct a new single-family residence. Are there any parties present in opposition to case 35? Okay, Mr. Chairman, seeing none, sir, let me give my presentation first, and I'll turn it over to you, and you'll have 5 minutes to present your case to the board when I'm done. The subject property is located on the east margin of 24th Avenue North. This is the subject lot in yellow. The applicant renovated the existing home that hopefully you can kind of see where my cursor's moving, and is proposing to build a second residence at the rear of the lot. And the zoning code requires that this new residence be 20 feet from the rear property line, which would be from that alleyway you see in the aerial photograph. So a 20-foot rear setback. He is proposing a 5-foot setback with the proposed parking for Unit 2 being between the two units, and there's a parking pad you'll see in the photograph. These are looking at the neighboring properties, and I don't have a direct shot on this home. I apologize. I got a little bit lost in my own taking photographs, but this was the house that was renovated on the front of the parcel. It's painted black here. The applicant,
That's the house, that's the existing house?
that's the existing house, yes, sir. He basically renovated the exterior and interior of the home, kept the footprint, kept the walls up, but just remodeled it. These were the homes that you saw, those duplexes to the north. He did install a parking pad at the front of the building, new concrete driveway that leads down the side of this home. As you can see, just to the back. I apologize for some reason. I thought that home right there was our subject lot. So I'll include this.
And is there any opposition?
There's no opposition present, sir. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, sir, if you would please state your name and address for the board, and you'll have 5 minutes to present your case to the board.
My name is Mubarak Muhammed. I live on 1905 9th Avenue North. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Thanks for having me here. My name is Mubarak Muhammed. I live on 1905 9th Avenue North, not far from this property, and I'm the owner of this property. My case for today is I'm requesting a variance for the rear setback to allow me have a parking driveway right in between both properties. So here are some of the hardships and I kind of made a list that made me come to make this request. The first one is that the alley access is really not functional. Normally you need, a driveway to be about 10 foot. I went out there and I measured it. It's about 9 foot and some change. There is a turn. I don't know if there's a way we can get on the map for you to be able to get into this alley. There's this weird turn that exists. You should have internal radius should be about 12 to 15. It's only about 11 and a half. So because of this reason, the waste trash companies, they don't even go back there to pick up your trash at all. So all of the mail, all of the trash is in the front. And the property itself also has another hardship, which is about 10 foot of it sits on the main road. So right in front of there is about 10 foot of the property that sits on 24th Avenue North. That kind of takes away from the property. And because it's so tight right in the front, there is no street parking on 24th Avenue North, that there's no way for me to have a street parking in the front. So I kind of thought about it. It's HPR split, so it's split. That would be a different, it's deeded differently. So the only way that I saw for it to make sense would be to have a driveway in between. As this property currently sits, it sits past, it's 150 wide, it sits past 75. So by allowing me to have that allows me to have a driveway in the front. Let me see.
So the alleyway is it's only really usable by pedestrians, it's not traffic use?
Yeah. Okay. No, there are some houses down the street that use it, but it's not wide. A big truck can't make its way through there. The alleyway, you can kind of drive through people's property and, maneuver, but really the biggest concern is, for me, there is a turn down and again, I don't know if we can check on the map, but that turn, the internal radius is super, super tight. There was a time I have a big dually truck, and one time I got stuck. I had to pull out of there. Now, as far as my neighbors, most of everybody kind of tore down their houses and built side by side, and everybody has a driveway right in front of their house. I didn't tear it down. I renovated it and hoping that I can have a driveway in the back. But yeah.
Okay, any questions? Did you have any more?
No, that's
Okay, you
really
may have
about
some
it.
questions. So the line of asphalt from 24th Avenue North essentially extends over into the property 10 feet? But that's, you can't really use that for parking, is what you're saying?
No, it's not. It's, I guess, so part of it that is on the street, it's literally for traffic.
Okay,
So part of about 10 foot of it, if you look at the site plans, this site survey, but yeah, 10 foot of it is on the road. So there's, some people still try to do street parking, maybe whenever they're visitors and they don't necessarily live there, but it becomes a thing where you have to stop and wait for somebody else to go. And I just don't think it's safe.
okay. Any more questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you. We'll close the public hearing and discuss. Thoughts?
I'm having a hard time finding hardship. I understand the applicant wanna build the house behind existing house. Looking at the development pattern, the two properties on top of this map, yeah, they both built side by side, so therefore they do have plenty of rear setback, meet the requirement. And because applicant choose to restore existing home, so therefore, in order for him to build another house will be behind the existing house. I understand that logic, but I'm just having a hard time if that meets our criteria of the hardship.
Can I? No.
Well, I see hardships. I mean, I see the asphalt coming 10 feet over into the front yard, and it does look like a really narrow, we can't see the part where he's having the issues with the turning radius, but I can see where you would have if you complied with the 5-foot setback, you'd have a turning radius issue just to get into a garage. So I see some hardships. I mean, it's also a significant ask from 5 feet to 20 feet. I will say, in terms of setbacks, especially when I see kind of what's going on in the neighborhood, I'm usually more comfortable with giving way on a rear setback than a side setback or a front setback when you have especially when you have an alley or some type of separation. So, and I think he can't, as I understand it, Mr. Vargas, the second resident, he can't push that up any closer to the existing house. Is that correct?
I think I understood that area would be parking for the rear residents in between the two homes. The code does allow them to be a minimum of 6 feet apart.
Okay.
But it was my understanding that to I guess, provide some yard for the front house, but that would be kind of the parking area for that.
I guess if they're 6 feet apart, then there couldn't be a parking pad there. It would have to be just kind of straight line parking. So, I don't know. To me, there are hardships. It's kind of there's no opposition. That matters to me. It's a rear setback. I wouldn't. So, I'm all ears listening to other people, but I do think I see a hardship, or a couple of them.
I'm just wondering if would it be possible to reduce 5 feet? I understand that building envelope seem to be larger as proposed than original house. So would that be possible to reduce the footprint some and then increase the rear setback to 10 feet? That would be kind of safer, considering, alley, because 5-foot setback from the alley line seems to be, a bit too close to me.
So you'd be okay with 10 feet?
I would too.
Okay. So here's the question. Are you okay approving it, just giving the 10-foot setback without having to see another site plan? I would be, just because I think it's okay. Well, I'll make a motion then that we approve a 10-foot setback, rear setback.
Based on the hardships demonstrated.
Based on what?
The hardships demonstrated.
Oh, yeah, based on the hardship of the alley accessibility issue, and then the fact that the front has that 10 feet of pavement encroaching into the front yard.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, that passes.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to our next public hearing. Our next public hearing will be case 2026-38, Georgina Inkum, owner and appellant of the property at 3824 Brick Church Pike, requesting a special exception for a religious institution in R20. The appellant is seeking to use the existing residence as a religious retreat center, referred to the board under section 17170. The appellant has alleged jurisdiction under section 1740-180, item C. I believe there's parties here in opposition present. Okay. And I talked to Councilmember Gamble during the last case. She would like to address the board after the opposition speaks. So for her portion there. So, all right, let me pull up the drawings here, what we've got. It's 3824 Brick Church Pike. This is the site plan as submitted by the applicant. The current layout of the property is shown on an aerial photograph, which is here. In this aerial photograph, to give you some orientation, Brick Church Pike is the deep blue line where my pointer is running north and south. It connects from this point down at Briley Parkway to the south, and then north it hits and intersects with Old Hickory Boulevard on the north side of the county. The subject property is located where my cursor is here. This aerial photograph, there was a single drive that run along the southern property line and then bends out to the center of the property. There's a gated entrance located along Brick Church Pike. And then a different view, same photograph, shot approximately last year. It showed the existing residence here, a barn building structure located in this area here. I guess I will leave this drawing up. For the applicants, you'll have 10 minutes to present your case to the board. Of that 10 minutes, since there is opposition present, you will want to save some of that to rebut testimony of the opposition. So you'll have a chance to speak now, and you'll also have a chance once the opposition speaks and the council member speaks to come back and address items raised by those parties. So with that, I'll turn it over to you and the board to ask if you would give us your name and address for whoever wishes to speak. We'll get that started, and I'll start the clock after your introductions.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gina Inkum, and I am at 3824 Brick Church Pike. Gina Inkum, 3824 Brick Church Pike. Good afternoon. All right. Well, good afternoon again, everyone. My name is Gina Inkum. I'm a CPA by trade. My husband, Chris, he's a software and electrical engineer. We've been pastors in the Nashville area since the early 2000s. We've been very non-conventional with our approach towards ministry. We hold worship on the lawn. We have youth ministries, youth mentoring, outdoors. at various parks in the past, including Granny White, the Southeast, and we understand how difficult it is to be pastors and how pastors need to recharge, retreat, marriages. There's a lot of difficulty, and we do a lot of counseling, vow renewals for marriages. And so we've been in this space for a while. Our home has always been an extension of our ministry. And last year, we purchased this property, which is a lot, 14.2 acres. And so we're looking to be able to do a whole lot more than we've historically done in the past, which is why we reached out to find out what the process is to be able to do this. So we are respectfully seeking a special exception for religious purposes to enable us to do what we've always done, which is to provide a safe haven for all the different demographics that we serve. We've engaged with our community, our council member who's been amazing to work with, as well as the leadership of our unofficial neighborhood group. We actually attended the first meeting, the very first week we got into the neighborhood because our neighbor drove his golf cart to the back of our property just to show you how the neighborhood is. We were impressed and we engaged. The community ended up hosting a block party at our property, which was amazing. And I know at the end of the day, everyone was looking forward to doing it again. We have heard the concerns, which I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about. And our position is we're willing to listen and compromise within what the law stipulates and what this board is able to do as far as an approval with conditions for any concerns. My husband and I have 3 children. We understand how difficult it is to raise children in this community, and providing a safe haven for them has been very, very important to us. By the grace of God, we've been successful. Our oldest has graduated from UT, is headed to optometry school. Our second one is in an Ivy League, studying music and computer science, enabling him to pursue his passions. And our last one is in the process of pursuing dentistry. So we want to continue to be able to do what we've always done with our property. And my husband and I also have been married for 26 years. And last summer, we celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary, which we did a vow renewal and a reception at our property. We hadn't heard of any issues or concerns after our anniversary, but throughout this last couple of, in August, we did another celebration. We had a few concerns. We spoke to our council member and said, we totally understand, and we just need to arrive at some sort of compromise. So I will say that we've spoken to our neighbors, and we did 4 community meetings that we've attended instead of the 1 that this board required. We understand that when we held our first one, it was in the midst of the ice storm, and our neighbors were distracted with other things. So we voluntarily provided more opportunity to listen and engage and ensure that we all are good neighbors and enjoy our property. And I want to recognize Mr. Ashley Hernandez, who is a licensed architect that's been working with us in codes. I've been engaging with codes from June 2025 before we even closed on the property. And one of my clients, who is also a pastor, Mr. Kirk, with Youth About Business, he'll say a few things. And my wonderful husband of 26 years, Chris Inkum. I do have a young lady here who is a woman that I've mentored for over a decade. If we have some time, she's also going to speak. Thank you.
Does somebody else want to speak while you're up here?
Sure. My name is Pastor Sam Kirk.
Is your green light on?
It is.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? My name is Pastor
Can you give
Sam.
us your address, please, sir?
My name is Pastor Sam Kirk. 0 Brick Church Pike is the address that we recently just acquired, and it's right across the street from the Inkum Farms. We're excited about what they're doing. As a matter of fact, I went to one of the meetings they held at the farm. Our church is actually planning a servant leadership retreat. I walked the property. It's such a place of peace. And I mentioned to our church leadership, they just got this. If it's all approved, we would love to have our servant leadership meeting there because it is a nice, peaceful property. I've run Youth About Business for 34 years here in this city, and there are lots of young people that as we do retreats, we would also consider that as a place where they could have unique experience and opportunity. So I'm just here in support of the kind of effort Gina is right. She's been our CPA. She's worked with Hoskin and Company, and they've been our CPAs for years. So a testament of not only her character, but also really appreciate the effort that they're making there to bring this kind of facility to the community.
Thank you. We'll save our time for a position.
Okay, you'll have 4 minutes and 47 seconds.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we get up? Okay, if y'all want to see, we'll let the opposition come up. So opposition, you have 10 minutes.
Do you want everybody to come up at one time?
If you want to speak, yeah, come up. Right, you have a total of 10 minutes between everybody, so.
Okay, who else wants? All right, ready? All right, so I'm Karen Ripto, and I own the house at 3564 Richards Pike and 3570 Richards Pike, and I've lived there for 40 years. And I have like 23 acres and 5 acres, and it's a very quiet area, and I don't really feel like that this is what should be happening on our corridor. And the music's been really loud, and I have a recording of it, and it's went on till 11 or 12 o'clock at night when they've had events. And they don't live in the neighborhood. They live in Brentwood, and I guess they bought the house for, an event center, and it's just not working for our neighborhood.
I'm Jennifer O'Neill-Luke. My husband and I live at 30 Hill and Glade Drive. We also hear disruption in the noise. Unfortunately, back there, we couldn't hear their presentation. But it is a quiet residential neighborhood. I have run since 2010 free of charge equine therapy for Fort Campbell, Operation Stand Down, and we're a resident on the property as well. None of it is for profit. We are a 501c3 since 2004, and it's a sound issue that's disrupted the notion of having up to 1,000 people in a one-lane highway there, I think is unsafe, and it's just inconsistent with what this neighborhood is. We've lived there for 16 years, and it bothers our horses and people and sleep, and it's disruptive.
Hello, is it up? Hello? All right, I'm Lauren Belo. I live at 3808. I'm 2 doors down from the property, and I'm gonna say the music was so loud, it was rattling my triple pane windows on my house.
Yeah.
It's very upsetting that you can't even go outside and enjoy your backyard. I realize what they're trying to do is awesome, but this is not the location for this to happen.
Yes, yes.
Yes, it's not the location. It's more of a venue than it is a church, is what they're playing it off, church, retreat, which is great. But it's more of a venue. It's a wedding venue to make money.
Yes, amen.
So that's not what our neighborhood needs. We have enough stuff going in our neighborhood without a lot of other people coming down 2-lane highway trying to get in and out.
When you say it's more of a venue, can you elaborate on that?
Well, they're having it's a wedding venue is what it is. Look it up online, look up their website, Ingram Farms. It's a wedding venue. And they call it wedding venue, retreat, whatever they want to call it. Yeah, it's a venue. They had a wedding up there, and another loud music rocked the whole neighborhood. Mike lives 2 doors down the other way from me, and it was rocking him. So he's probably 2,000 yards away. I'm probably 1,000 yards away. I mean, this is unbelievable.
We've had,
You need to make sure your microphone's on, and then if you'll give us your name and address.
Mike Ripto,
3564 Brick Church, 3570 Brick Church. My wife's Karen. They've built 500 houses, one pasture from us. We have 29 acres. I think Lauren has 47. So these are large lots that everybody has. And they built 500 houses, Thornton Grove has. And the noise is less in those 500 houses than the two events that happened at the Ingram.
So are these events that are happening continually, or are they at night? Can you tell us more about?
Well, the one that my wife recorded, it was a Friday night or Saturday night, and it went up into 11. They had a DJ, and it's hitting these pastures, it's hitting these, and it's all over the neighborhood.
I have a quick question. I'm very familiar with this neighborhood. I drive there 3 times a week to pick up my daughter.
You probably know where we all live.
Yeah, I know where you all are. So my daughter's grandmother lives off a creek trail. So you know where it is at the end where you're going to Old Hickory. My question is, because I remember this area during the ice storm, most people in that area didn't have power, right? Like bell shower was out. So I just wanted to make sure I was right. Most people.
100%.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yes. Our whole neighborhood was out for a while, 4 to 7 days. Yeah.
Michael Maples, 4010, 4012, and 4014 Brick Church Pike. I live 2,000 feet from the property. We hear the noise. The issue here at hand is not a question of if they want to do a religious institution or not. If you notice, if you look on a Nashville site, they've got a notice to abate. They've got a reinspection coming up on March 26th. Makes this hearing really important. The reason they have a notice to abate is because they've been found to be having the wedding venue. Now, a wedding is an allowed use as an accessory to a religious institution. But if you look online, Dominion Ministries, you won't find much. And to classify as a religious institution federally and in the state of Tennessee, the meetings have to be regular. There is a classification for what would classify as the religious institution. I haven't been able to find record of that or find the ability to attend any of that, but I do know that there are weddings happening and large events that are causing a lot of noise. And in the use table in Metro Code 1708030, there is what you can allow is special exceptions and commercial amusements, outdoor or indoor, which is what a venue would be, or a use for a small outdoor event. Those are not permitted uses as special exception. The only option that would be allowed for a special exception if they had a temporary festival, such as what they've listed in a community event or a picnic or what have you, then we would come before the board at that point for that specific event. So if you read closely in the application, they're not asking for one use. You'll see to establish a religious institutional use with RS20 zone district, full stop. For future retreat center and community space, that's future. Then to conduct outdoor outreach events, weddings, vow renewals, and then followed by things that you might be able to permit on a special exception for the community picnics. It's a party sandwich in this listing, is that they want to keep having the venue, which codes has not found as an accessory use for the religious institution, but rather that maybe the religious institution might be an accessory use for the parties that are happening for commercial purposes. I feel bad that they've invested because it's beautiful property, nice people. I feel bad that they last year came in and invested $1 million+ in buying the property, starting using as parties, and now that there's a little bit of trouble having to rewind out of that. But that table doesn't even grant this board the authority to allow a special exception for weddings, vow renewals on a permanent basis. Thank you.
Hi, is this on? David Woody, I own the property at 3920 and 3914. We're a AR2A, and it's hard to piggyback and add anything additional other than what has already been said. Very concerned about the high traffic levels that may be following on if this is granted. Also, we have noticed the very loud music blasting. It is a very quiet neighborhood. We are, ourselves, we are trying to create an oasis back to the natural state of what this land originally was. There's a little water course that runs through it. Our intention is to do equine assisted therapy or various other things like that to help people recover and maintain calmness. And that's going to be really difficult if that area is constantly loud and noisy and a lot of traffic going by.
I'm Amanda Ball. I'm also at 3914 and 3920 Brick Church Pike. I was out the evening one wedding was going on, and our property is to come out, hear the birds, hear the frogs, listen to the creek, and for it to be an oasis, as David mentioned. We don't get that from any other neighbors, no matter what they're doing. Everyone is very discreet and respectful around us, so this is the first time. And I actually spoke to Gina on the phone and told her I wasn't happy about it, and she questioned whether I had even heard the music or not. So I think they're concerned with creating a venue, and I don't see how that fits into the neighborhood or the zoning that we have.
My name is Merv Luke. My wife Jennifer and I have 30 Hill and Glade Drive. We cannot see their property from ours. We are a half mile off the main road, and we are in a valley surrounded by hills. Their house happens to be on a hill that overlooks our property. And my only complaint has been the sound system. Now, to be honest, I've had some small events, 20-something people at our place trying to do some fundraising for Hill and Glade. This is done indoors, and we have been involved in the neighborhood. We have people who are happy that we're doing what we do with the military and saving lives, and have not had any complaints. And I hadn't brought up anything against what they're doing until they reached out for this variance. And then I brought up to them the idea that the sound was too loud, just too loud. We're trying to go to bed at 9 at night and hearing their music in our home, which is over 10 acres away from where they're having their event. So that's our only complaint, is the loudness of the sound system.
Thank you.
Can I just say one last thing? Because I read that they want to do equine therapy. I've been doing horses for 65 years, and equine therapy, we're certified, and it's a program. It's not like doing pony rides around the farm. So to really be an effective equine therapy center, which is nonprofit, is something that also concerns me.
Okay, so the opposition has 4 minutes and the applicant has additional time. If y'all will come back up. I'm sorry, Council Lady, did you want to speak after the? Okay.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for your service, of course. This one has been challenging. I will say that I attended the meeting at the Inkum farm about this proposal, had numerous conversations with the applicant as well as the neighbors. I've heard all of these concerns that you've heard today, and I agree with them. At one of the meetings, I've been present for at least 3 meetings concerning this project. We talked about a compromise, or maybe addressing these concerns, particularly the amplified music outdoors. I think that's one of the main issues, is that with these events that would be occurring, I guess, once a month, over an 8-month period, I think it says in the application, there would be outside amplified music up until the noise ordinance, our city's noise ordinance, which I believe is 9 or 10 o'clock on the weekdays, 10 o'clock on weekends, which is beyond the time that many of the neighbors are settling down, and it's been a disruption to the neighbors. So at one of the meetings, we discussed the possibility of ending any outside amplified music at 7 o'clock, which some of the neighbors agreed, thought that that was a good compromise. I think people are supportive of the activity, religious activity, cultural activity, but the concerns have to do with the outside amplified music and then the traffic. I believe the application applies for 300 to 1,000 people. As it's been stated, Brick Church Pike is a 2-lane road, a windy, narrow road. It cannot handle the capacity of more than 300 people. I think that the community is okay with 300 to 350 people, but beyond that, we do not have the capacity to absorb all of that traffic on that 2-lane road that's windy. I've talked to many of the neighbors that abut the property, talked to the neighbors across the street from the property, and all of them have expressed the same thing. I've only heard from 2 neighbors that are in close proximity to the property that support the application as it is. But I would like to see some concessions or some conditions if this were to go forward that would require any outside amplified music to end at 7 p.m. and then to not allow any more capacity than 350 people. So I appreciate your consideration.
Okay, thank you very much. So applicants, you've got 4 minutes and 47 seconds.
Good afternoon. My name is Ashley Hernandez. I've been architect working with the owner. Just wanted to clarify a few things. Number one, like I said, they bought the property 9 months ago, and they've been trying to work on the programming for this. They've had some weddings, but again, the existing house is 5,000 square foot, 5-bedroom, would be used as a retreat center. And like I said, they do wedding renewals and things like that in the existing barn. The existing barn is 1,500 square feet and only allows for 100 maximum capacity. So we're not talking about 1,000 people. Unfortunately, the zoning application has categories, and the second category is 300 under or 300 to 1,000. Not that they want to have that many people there, but that's the zoning category that is allowed. The current parking with the new site layout allows for a maximum of 170 cars. So that would limit their occupancy as well as the building occupancy at 100. So we're not looking at having more than 300 people at a time for an outdoor event. And anytime they have the outdoor events, again, there is no lighting or anything else that allows them to do major activities outside after dark.
Thank you. I do want to address a couple of things. Thank you. One, we moved to Brentwood because of our children for the school system. Once they got out of college, the last one was gone, we decided to move out of Brentwood. So no, we don't live in Brentwood. So that's incorrect that we just bought this property for an investment or for venue. The only wedding that has occurred at the property is my husband and I's 25th wedding anniversary. My son threw that website together because everyone that attended was like, this is beautiful. When we do our marriage counseling, we'll love to do renewals and everything here. That's how that came about. I also want to emphasize the fact that when this is over, I want us to be on the same page that all properties are created equal and all people are created equal. We have multiple businesses in that neighborhood zoned R20. We can't find any special exceptions. We've asked BZA and code and no one has anything on file. So whatever conditions we include with the approval should be something that gets applied to all properties, not just on a singular basis.
Do y'all have a website for a wedding venue? Because I guess what I'm hearing is that there's, and somebody put this, Mr. Hargis did, because you're asking for a special exception for a religious use in a retreat center, and I get that, but I'm also hearing from neighbors that it sounds like there's a separate wedding venue activity or business taking place, and to me that's, I mean, I'm concerned that you're asking for a special exception, and part of it is a wedding venue. And is this the website that you have?
Yes, this is a website that my son put together after our wedding using pictures from our wedding and other things, because we've always done marriage counseling, marriage retreats, vow renewals, and that would be a space that other people can use. That's why he put that together.
So it's if someone from the public comes on the website and they want to use this venue as a wedding renewal or a wedding, you're open for business for that?
Once we get the permission and approval to do that, we'll be glad to do that. As part, we offer counseling too. So we will do our counseling, and if they want to use the venue, that would be perfectly fine.
Okay. But somebody could come onto the website, and even if they don't have an association with your retreat center or the church you're connected with, and they could have a wedding there, or a vow renewal, or is that what's?
If someone wants to, yes, we would allow them to.
Okay.
Just like any other church. I mean, I know I don't have to be a member of any church per se to be able to go to rent the space or utilize it.
But the website just doesn't give any indication it's connected with the church. If this is your website, it looks like to me like a typical wedding venue website.
Right. And that's something my son threw together. And so we have not had the time. We're waiting for approval. As I mentioned, we applied for this in September, and we didn't even pick it back up until February this year. So we haven't done anything or established ourselves in putting all our information together as far as the building and everything. We just recently re-engaged with the process, but that's been up there since our anniversary last year.
And you still have some time left. And you don't, when you're answering questions, that doesn't count against your time. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if a physician gets to speak again, or I'm just making sure that if need be, we have the space to be able to do that.
I would like to say one other thing. I love the fact that the councilwoman has agreed in all situations there should be some level of concession, because what they've done seems to be a wonderful thing. Immediately after we saw it, I am a pastor. We do have a place. We meet in Bordeaux. Our leadership team met, and I said specifically, it's a great place to go and have a religious retreat. So I think that this place of concessions, I asked them, you know, the music piece, if it's, I think the neighbors and them, it'd be wonderful if they could work that out so that we don't restrict a great vision for that community. And I'm glad that you said from the architecture side that there's probably not going to be 1,000 people because there are restrictions there. So I just want to come back and reiterate, it really is a wonderful place as a retreat. As a matter of fact, we wanted our church to ride horses. I don't know who was it, but while they were there, we thought that'd be a great thing to do. Maybe we collaborate with the person to say they could do that kind of activity, because it's just a peaceful thing to do. So I just wanted to make those last comments.
I have a question.
Okay.
On this property, your property, you are asking to be a religious institution. So on this property, what kind of a religious activity has been happening, planned to happen, and what is the plan, the main purpose of as a religious institution?
Thank you. So our physical church used to be located at the Global Mall until it was sold. We built a studio in our basement, and if you go to our website, you can see we've been broadcasting our services every Tuesday and every Sunday since then. So this would be the only physical location that we've had since then. We held a New Year's watch night service in the barn. We've had Bible studies on property as well, and we are non-conventional. We went 100% virtual right before COVID when they sold the Global Mall. So we've not had a physical location since then, and this is now going to be the location. As the architect mentioned, we have a 1,500 square foot barn in the back, which he's going to work with codes to ensure that it complies with whatever the maximum capacity, life safety requirements, and all of that are.
Thank you.
I have a zoning question. So this is here under 17.16.170E, which has a lot of different parts to it. What should we be looking at?
In this case, you would be looking under the new facilities section for the specific conditions under letter D. I think it starts out originally in that section as existing facilities, but you would look at it under new facility, as this has not previously been a religious institution.
Okay,
I'm gonna pull up the code too.
Yeah,
so I
could
can-
you pull it up? Thank you.
So for us, starting with section E here, this would be all of the things that talk about new facilities. So starting with number 3 on the specific conditions. And then again, special exceptions also have the general conditions of special exceptions in 17, 16, 150, and I can pull those.
So what I'm missing is, how does this facility meet these specific requirements listed under new facilities? I'm kind of missing that in the board packet.
Yeah, well, obviously it's in 17, 16, 150 talks about the burden of proofs on the applicant to, and I'm just reading from the code, a special exception is not considered an entitlement, but shall be granted if by the board only after the applicant has demonstrated satisfaction of the board that those requirements have been met. That's in 17, 16, 150. That under a religious institution here, the minimum site size depends on the number of seats or people equivalent. So when it talks about in the code for every seat in the sanctuary, it's a rate of 5/1000ths of an acre per person. We do that, we just divide it by the number of people. And then the street standards, it says that based upon, and I think that one of the gentlemen at the table talked about the sections here that talk about the number of individuals based on the number of seats or capacity. And so the from 50 to 300 says any through street or temporary dead end, and 301 to 1,000 says any collector street type. Brick Church Pike is a collector street on the major collector street plan. And then it states in letters C and D, C, that landscape buffers are required along common property, separate all structures and parking areas from abutting residential property. That's here. And I don't think D's applicable.
Would this property be eligible for, is there a special exception for a wedding venue?
There's not. Commercial, wedding venues we classify as commercial amusement outdoor, which is the basis upon the stop work notice that my office posted. Was based upon the uses occurring out there. I sent inspectors out to abate the property, which facilitated these events occurring today.
But, I mean, even if a special exception was approved today for a religious institution, you'd continue to, if there were commercial activity there, then would codes continue to?
We would, to the applicant's point, we do allow churches to hold events and you know, rent their sanctuaries and their space for, and we don't get involved in those activities as under their, you know, that's their mission as a church to serve the community, is to do certain things.
They're going to have some weddings, probably.
Right, could be weddings, could be, you know, but as long as it's under a religious institution, there are uses protected both by federal and state law that churches can do.
May I ask the question to the zoning administrator? So in order for the property or property owner to qualify that a particular property is religious institution, what kind of process do we just approve the location and then automatically become the religious institution?
A use permit is required, so any structures on the property used for any activities, religious or event spaces, will have to comply with the building and fire codes of the 2024 International Building Code. The classification in the zoning code for religious activities, and I'm scrolling through the definitions now, I'm going to read it for you. Our office does not get into the sort of the nuts and bolts of their worship and how it occurs, so not going to walk down that road at all. But it says a religious institution means any structure or site used primarily for religious practices. That's the zoning code's definition of it.
So another technical question. So the application as an accessory to the religious institution, does it have to be religious institution have to be approved first and then afterwards comes accessory use, or can it be approved at the same time?
Generally, accessory uses come after so in this particular zone district, religious institutions require this board's approval before they open. And then accessory uses that occur inside that, be it Meals on Wheels or whatever, those generally happen after. I think in this case, the complaints our office received were for the wedding venue without knowing any context of religious institution. We abated them, and thus they filed for an appeal based on, hey, we're a religious institution. So those discussions led to, well, if that's the case, then you have to file for a special exception to come here and seek that approval. But related to it, whether it's accessory uses or principal uses as a religious institution, the structures that are being used for that will have to be inspected and brought up to code to comply with the International Building Code.
Okay, there's a minute. Does anybody have any more questions? You have a minute 13 seconds left.
I do want to say that if you pull out the website for Healing Glade, which is right down the street from us, you will see parties, just built a pavilion for graduation parties, weddings, and so being that they're also a religious institution, that's acceptable, except we can't find anything on file where one was issued here.
Yes, that's very true.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We'll close the public hearing and discuss.
Thank you.
I was just going to say, I remember from several months ago, the Zeal Church case that we had. We continued it a bunch. It was going on Ashland City near Briley Parkway, and a lot of neighborhood opposition appeared because they said that church was inappropriate in the context of that neighborhood. And so normally for a special exception, we typically have, we've heard a lot of these lately. We heard one in Hermitage, right, where it was an Indian church that was going into a rural area, and they did a lot to accommodate the neighbors' concerns because they were putting this big thing in a rural area. So I will say, for me, like, I agree, we should treat, I try to use the same stick to measure everybody. So if this is a religious institution, I am thinking about the context of this area. I do travel this area a lot. It's very rural in character, very rural. Like when the councilwoman said it's a windy road, that road is windy if you're trying to come back into Nashville or come back into East Nashville to get to like West Trinity Lane and everything else. Like that road, it's sort of like Briley Parkway and the interstate is like the demarcation of the road. Once you go past that, going towards that way, like the road is different, the houses are different, the landscape is different. It's very rural. And so from my perspective, what I'm asking myself is, does this cause harm to neighboring properties? We heard a lot of noise complaints. I'm not saying that there's not a path to approval. I just think it's sort of hard based off the information given, and then sort of like, we've heard a lot of different activities that they're doing. I think we need to hear all the activities, when those activities plan to occur, because I can't really craft conditions, and I'm balancing that against a lot of neighborhood opposition where there are a lot of noise complaints, and I am thinking about, like I said, the rural character of this area that I have to disclose that I travel a lot. So it's only 4 of us. I think it's going to be a hard path to approval today, so I just want that to be like maybe a deferral is appropriate, maybe the applicant should come back with more information. I think the applicant should come back with conditions they think is reasonable because they know how they plan on. Does that make sense? Like, we've heard a lot of different things that you're doing. You've heard your neighbors' concerns. It is better for everybody to come do something that everybody can live with rather than us doing it, because nobody's going to be happy if we do it. But if you all can come to an agreement on what that looks like. It sounds like you only have 170 spaces. It sounds like you also plan on using this for a retreat. Maybe you don't have weddings all the time. Maybe you cut the music off at a certain time. I just think that we've heard a lot of conflicting information, and I think the best way is for the neighbors and you all to come up and come back and say what we can live with. So that's my 2 cents because there's only 4 of us. And I'm trying to save everybody some time. And I also need to go to the restroom after we take a break.
I have one technical question. I don't know if we can still.
We've closed the public hearing, so I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to have a unanimous verdict today to get anywhere, so, I mean, I share, I agree with what you said, and I don't hear the neighbors complaining about what I consider kind of the core religious uses, the retreat center, the trail that's there. What I hear really the problem is the music and the venues, and I have real concerns that I see a website, and it looks like, I don't see how that's connected to I mean, if somebody can get on the phone and say, I'd like to have a wedding there, and I don't really believe that is connected with the way it should be with your mission as a religious institution. So I think they're right to be concerned that is something getting approved here, and there's a use we're all okay with, but this collateral use is that it becomes a wedding, a wedding venue that's kind of a separate piece of it. And I'm very concerned about that, looking at the website, and you were very frank about that. You said, yeah, you could, you would offer counseling, but you could also come in and have a wedding there. And I think, to me, that's that's the piece that's got to be, y'all are going to have to deal with, because I think everybody has a concern about that and about the wedding venue aspect of this, so.
Yeah. I mean, I know we have 51 seconds. I was gonna say, in the time frame.
Ma'am,
Oh, you don't? Oh, I see. Okay, got it.
We have to close the public hearing at some point,
Okay.
because we've got people after y'all.
Okay,
We gotta-
wonderful. So we are gonna defer and come back?
I mean, maybe the best approach is a deferral and I think you've heard the concerns that we can put conditions on the special exception, and I think it'd be very likely there'd be conditions on noise and, the use of, to me, they're gonna be weddings if you have a religious institution, there are gonna be a certain number, but it's not gonna be the same number as if you have a wedding venue and people, anybody can come in and have a wedding, or anybody can come in and have an event. I think that's the things that I would certainly look at, so. 2-week deferral, or?
What I would like to see at the next renewed application is the main function as a religious institution. That's what we'll be doing, hours of operation or no hours of operation, because it's an unconventional religious institution. That is fine, but we would like to see, I personally would like to see as a application. And then we can consider as an accessory use. The way the application is submitted currently, it looks like just want to open the wedding venue. So we would like to have proper application at the next time.
Okay, so can I open the public hearing and ask, do y'all think 2 weeks will be enough to get together with neighbors? Would you like 4 weeks?
No way.
4 weeks?
Maybe 4.
Okay. All right, so, we'll close the public hearing again, and then I'll make a motion that we defer this for 4 weeks. April 16th.
I'll second that with a comment that, just a reminder about the traffic. The traffic was mentioned as an issue by the council person in opposition too. We don't know much about the roads, and several of us don't live there, so we don't know what the roads are like. So we would like some more information about that as well.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, so April 16th.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Do we need to take a 5-minute
Okay, the
break?
board will stand in recess for 5 minutes.
We knocked it down some. Well, I appreciate it.
Our final case today is on page 4, case 2026-39, Mr. Duane Cuthbertson, an MV Holdings LLC, the appellant's located at 106 Rains Avenue. This is requesting a special exception for street and rear setbacks and height control plane. Applicant is seeking to construct a new mixed-use multifamily residential development. At the beginning of the meeting, Councilmember Vo spoke requesting a postponement of the case, and the applicants are present. So I guess that is the initial discussion on the table is what you would like to, how you'd respond to whomever wants to come forward.
Thank you, Joey. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Duane Cuthbertson, 409 Merritt Avenue. I heard the council members' concerns about communication with constituents in the neighborhood, and I'm happy to offer up a deferral to continue that conversation. I feel like we've had quite a bit of conversation with the community already. I've sat on porches, in living rooms, on the site. I've met with the direct neighbors, quite a few folks, and I think, you know, we've got a lot of signatures on petitions. You've all received letters of support, and to date, I've not heard from opposition, but I'm happy to continue that conversation. If there are concerns out there, I'd like to hear them and at least have an opportunity to address them outside of this chamber, and hope to come to you with consensus at the next hearing. I'm hopeful we can do that in the next 2 weeks, so I'd love to defer it for one meeting if that's possible. If for some reason within the next 2 weeks we're unable to have all the conversations that are needed, I'm happy to defer it at that meeting one more time. But yeah, I'll offer up the deferral for one meeting to attempt to have more conversation with the community.
Second.
Mr. Chairman, reviewing the rest of the cases here, that adjourns us for the day. All other cases have been. Oh, hang on. Oh, yes, sorry. Gosh, yeah. Yes, other business. All right, members. Couple discussions to have with you as your staff, Christy and I. You all, at the last time we will have to act on this we'll have to bring you a revision to the board's rules and let you bless it, but this is just discussion. So you all had, after some discussion amongst yourselves, requested to extend the period at which applicants in opposition can send us things until the Tuesday, the week of the meeting. And what Christy and I have found in that, it is just a complete nightmare on our end, trying to get everything updated and get it to you guys in time to update our SharePoint, to make sure we get with planning and get with NDOT and all that stuff. So our suggestion to you is if we could go back to a week before, so like things for this meeting would have had to been in by last Thursday by both parties. Yes, sir. Council members, we generally give them some deference on turning stuff in or things from other metro agencies, but just like to hear if I see some shaking of the head. So if you are agreeable to that, I will work up for consideration probably at our April 16th meeting rules changes for you to review and bless. And then the other item, we have been. We have been reviewing the board's fees for zoning variances, special exceptions, item A appeals over time. And part of our view, one, is to look, how are our fees? Are they similar? Are they dissimilar from other jurisdictions? Christy put a lot of time and effort in contacting other jurisdictions to see, hey, exactly what do you guys do for appeals and fees and such. And Christy, I'm failing to pull up your PowerPoint, I'm sorry. Our current fee structure are appeals of, item A appeals are $100. Residential variances and special exceptions for residential are $100. Anything else is $200. A flat fee. When I first started with codes, it was actually a percentage of the value of so larger projects paid a larger fee than the council. They ultimately kind of scrapped that idea to make it just a flat fee. The council chose to do that. So this is really a request to talk to you guys about, hey, kind of show you the fee structure of other jurisdictions, get your thoughts on what you think reasonable amount of fees should be, and then I would approach the council as zoning administrator. There's a section in the code that allows me to approach the council about BZA fees. The council sets the fees, but we would suggest fee changes to them. Christy, I'm apologizing. Where is the?
No, I will say there are certain circumstances and situations that I pulled from Austin, Texas, who was, if you look at population and size, is very close to what Nashville is now. And a lot of what planning takes, you know, they mirror off of one another between Austin, Texas and Charlotte, North Carolina. And I work a lot with Greg in planning to try to get, you know, what cities, you know, are very similar to Nashville, population-wise, demographic-wise, all of these things, because that's what they do up there. And the one thing that I liked about Austin, Texas is their fees are very high, but then they have a form for certain, let's say, elderly that was needing a setback, or they built a fence, or whatever the case may be. They can fill this out and they have no fee. But on the other hand, when you have, for instance, a company like on RAINS Avenue, $200 fee is nothing to them. But, you know, a $500 fee, they may think twice about it, or a $1,000 fee for, you know, a commercial property. Also, the aspect, if you look at how many item A's we've already had and what we had in 2025, it's grown a lot. And in my opinion, if you want to challenge what the zoning administrator, his decision is, I don't think $100 fee, because $100 fee, I mean, $100 is a lot of money to me, but it may not be to a lot of people, and they're just gonna throw it out and say, it doesn't matter. Let's throw it in a bucket and see what happens.
Yep.
But a $500 fee to challenge the zoning administrator's decision, you may think twice about it. If you're passionate about it, then, and you think you're right, then you're gonna say, okay, $500 is worth my time and our time.
That's true. And looking at what like this slide here that Christy put together after talking with Charlotte and Austin, those are generally our peer cities that we use for similar things. You can see the discrepancy between ours and theirs. The thing for you all is not it's quite a bit of difference.
Yes.
Not necessarily that you support. Maybe there's an upper limit from your perspective, like, hey, it really shouldn't be more than X. What I've got to do is take the number that's kind of decided upon by the board. I've got to run some numbers on my end as far as our time involved and staff salaries and such, because I have to be neutral. I can't this can't be a money-making operation for the BZA. So I've got to be neutral. So whatever fees are suggested, I'll have to adjust them accordingly before I send them to the council. But these are some ideas of those fees. As you see, just your standard residential zoning variance in Austin's over $1,000. It's over $750 in Charlotte. And just give you some ideas, just chart-wise. I mean, we haven't touched our BZA fees, I know, in a good 10 or more years. And this city has grown tremendously over that time. So we should be recapturing some of the effort and staff salaries to the taxpayers to try to make it, revenue neutral at the minimum. But, you see our growth just since, 20, 30% growth over a 10-year period. It's just been exceptional. So, but I really put that out for your discussion here. I would, again, just like this, I would draft hey, here's kind of what I understand y'all to be and present it to y'all to vote up or down. And then I can take that vote to the council and say, here's the fees we're suggesting by ordinance that you raise. And I'll include these PowerPoints in our own numbers. But
Can you go back to the first page?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we do differentiate between residential and multifamily commercial.
We do.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of us want to see somebody who's on a fixed income.
Oh, absolutely not.
Or a simple carport or
yeah.
a front porch or
It also seems fair. I mean, we know developers come in that are, they're asking for things that are probably going to result in the increase in the value of the property by hundreds of thousands. And it would be fair for them to pay more. My concern is for y'all as the gatekeeper, how do you, yeah, we can say, I guess you have to keep it commercial. And I guess my concern with commercial, like if I look at Austin, Texas, that's almost $5,000. But if you got a mom and pop operation and it's not somebody that's building a five-story multi-use that they're going to make $2 or $3 million off of, maybe. Sure. That's kind of my thoughts on it. But I do think we need to raise, especially as much activity is going on in this town and, particularly with the commercial stuff. I think it's pretty well known that there are a lot of people in commercial real estate, and they're before us, some of them, and they're doing, everybody's doing pretty well, and I think that's fair. But I just wonder from y'all's standpoint, is there any way to do it connecting it to the appraised value of the property, or does that get too?
We could. The way we used to do it when I first hired on under the prior code, it was a percentage of, so if you were building something, right, we compute a valuation of that construction value, and it was like 1/1000th of a percent of that value. Now, that got into, in some projects, zoning appeals fees of $10,000 and $15,000, maybe that's excessive.
But we could have a cap, though.
But we could create a range of, hey, if this job's between, $0 and $50,000, you pay X, and if it's larger, you pay a little bit more, and those are some things that there's a couple ways to go about it. I think, and just give you my opinion, the residential appeals of the homeowner that's doing they did a deck or they're doing something, maybe that stays at 100, maybe it goes to 150, I don't know. But the commercial, to me, is where the fees have got to come up. The zoning appeal, we do 200, maybe it's raised a little bit. Because there's really nothing occurring other than we're arguing over a definition or of interpretation versus, not to pick any projects on our board now, but if you think about, we've had projects out on the West End that are 30 and 40 stories, and they needed that height. They shouldn't be paying $200. That's
So not when they get that height, especially.
20,000 might be too much. I don't know what the number is, but maybe it's a start, and we sort of see, are we recouping our cost in maybe we raise it to a certain amount initially, and we can revisit it, over time. But I'm looking for suggestions from you all as 80% of my board sitting here. Are there any numbers that you think seem reasonable, and then we can run the numbers and come back with you and,
I think, multifamily and commercial, and as well as zoning interpretation appeal, because now not only our, codes department, you have to work with NDOT, WIGO, water, so you have to consult planning, so many other departments. So if you factor into those people's time into application fee, and then we are not coming up, try to make money off of it. I think you can convince in that way, because it's not like a, one department operation. You have to coordinate with multi-department.
We do. One thing I'll add to this, Christy and I are currently working on our notice hearings. The zoning code requires a notice. We got the council to take out the newspaper classified ad that we used to have to do, so that's gone with technology. But one thing Christy and I have talked about is going to a postcard notice with a QR code that you would scan with your phone, and it would take you to our website, and there's our agenda. I've got to bounce that off the guys at legal to make sure that's going to work. There may have to be, but the goal is to try to get, instead of your first-class postage, get it down to a postcard is a lot cheaper to mail than it is a first-class letter.
And that takes off the responsibility for the applicant, whether, they're not tech savvy or they don't understand, whether it be a language barrier, whether it be, whatever the case may be, that takes off all of that pressure from them. And what happens is we generate, same thing that we generate now. It's very similar to what planning does. They generate a mailing list, and a postcard is generated through, let's just say, Kinko's or whatever, and that's just generated, and the applicant doesn't have to do any of that. Their only job is to make sure that they do their requirements of whatever their application is, submit their plans, and, come before you guys.
I think I've gotten one of those from the stormwater variance.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a little yellow postcard.
So I think it would be fair to separate multifamily from commercial, and make multifamily maybe a little bit higher than, because multifamily is a lot of the times it's somebody building an HPR, and I mean, if there's a way to go back to, with commercial, determining the fee based on the value, because to me too, the more complicated it is, and the more that the applicant has at stake in terms of what they're trying to do, the more it involves, I mean, you guys are spending more time on it. The fire departments, everybody's spending more time on it, and that makes sense to me. But my concern would be, I think we'd want to know that it didn't create a lot of extra red tape for y'all, because you're, having to figure, you get pushback about, well, why did you charge me X? There had to be some kind of baseline, but I think it could be done, and to me, that would be eminently fair. And
The one challenge I see is like a new application, like, 12 South and WeHo, like a first floor is commercial, and then multifamily on top. So how do we differentiate? Are we count as a multifamily, or are we count as a commercial? So I think we have to come up with definition.
Multi-use.
Yeah.
I think to Ross's point, for us, multifamily, we define multifamily as 3 or more units on a lot. If there's not a commercial element in it, I would say we if it's just it's all apartments or condos. That's one set. If it's got commercial in it, like ground floor commercial, then it's all commercial.
It's all commercial.
so there'd be residential, multifamily, commercial. And do you think it's practical to be able to have a objective way to calculate based on the application, how much the fee would be?
Sure.
We could come up with we do that for building permits. There's a scale passed by ordinance, how we charge on building permits based on the range of the value of the project. I think we could duplicate that to come up with some numbers. If it's a small, like today we had a sign permit, that would be a commercial sign, but that sign costs maybe, $3,000. All right, that would be the minimum fee. And then, because what we've set up now is, it's a lot easier for architects or engineers in this town to just come see you rather than try to make that plan conform with the code. If we make it a little bit of a barrier, like, hey, it's gonna cost us 6 weeks and $2,000 to go to the board, and we might not get it, they might take more time to redesign that plan to make it work. At $200, it's just easier to come down here and see if they can get a variance first and then go fix the plan if they get denied.
Or go in front of planning, or, whatever.
I was gonna suggest that One thing I do know too, and we've seen this a lot of times people come here instead of going to planning for a rezoning because they don't want to pay the thousands of dollars for a rezoning. They just take and so to the extent that we can lessen that, I think that would be good. But I would like to say that, like, for the zoning interpretation appeal, like, there's a big jump between, like, Charlotte and Austin. And I think it's probably fair somewhere in the middle, because as long as I've been on this board, there have been times where we thought the zoning administrator erred. Rarely, Joey, rarely. But and I don't want the cost to, like, prevent somebody from exercising due process. And so I just think 3,000 is a little high, but I do think 200 is too low. So I just think it's probably somewhere in the middle, and you guys can determine that based on how much time you spend and everything else. But I just wanted to say that.
Let's do that.
I agree. I think it needs to go up, but I don't think we want anybody to get the impression that, oh, they're just trying to chill.
Or we just think Joey's just a end all. I'll agree 100% there. I gave you guys. Yeah.
I do too. I think it's too low too.
Well, I tell you what I can do, Christy and I'll go back. We'll set this for the 16th. That's a busy hearing. We may do it the first one in May. I'll come up with some fees, suggestions, and just let you guys talk about it and see if you're comfortable. There's not a rush to do this. There's not a need to, we decided, I was like, she and I were talking one day, I was like, wonder what they charge. And then the more we looked at other jurisdictions in Tennessee, it's like, wow, we're way under. We're under like Chattanooga and, Dixon. I mean, like,
We're a total bargain. I mean, the filing fee for filing something in General Sessions Court or, or Chancery Court's like $300.
Even like Bristol, Tennessee, their filing fee is like $500.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll work on that. I appreciate y'all's input and guidance in this. So we'll come up with some suggested numbers. I'll look at the sliding scale based on the size of the commercial project. Larger projects should pay more, I want to avoid what we ran into in pre-98. We had an appeals fee once of $30,000, and we had noticed it, and it went out. And ultimately, the applicant just decided, I'm not going to go through with it. That fee's surrendered. Once the notices go out, you're filed.
Yeah.
So I want to avoid those. But also, too, the other thing for me is, to Shawnee's point, if somebody disagrees with me, file it. Great. I want to keep that. We may not even change that number.
No, you should change it, because
I think it needs to go up.
I'm not going to mention it, but I know we've had some recently where it was so low, that's why they did it, and then they can have a good faith argument.
I got you.
So I think it should go up. I just think that, my personal opinion, I think 3,000 is too high.
I do too. Yeah, that's ridiculous. To me, at worst, it may be 250 or 3, something. We'll come up with a number.
I even called to double check. Like, it was on their website. I called and I was like, can I speak to the zoning administrator? And, they connected me and I'm like, is these fees correct on your website? And he was like, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. I'm like, do you have a lot of these? He was like, yeah. I was like, sure.
I'd rather they come on an administrative appeal, come here and argue it before you go to court. It's cheaper than that. Well, thank you. We appreciate y'all's time and input on that. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.